Hi, I'm Liz with Liz's Crafts, and today I'm going to be bringing you a repurposed coasters for Mother's Day. So I have these coasters that I've had for a while, and I'm just going to take my little finger sander there, or a hand sander, whatever you want to call it, with 80 grit sandpaper on it. And we're just going to sand off this design. So these are just those thirsty coasters that you can get at the Dollar Tree. Like I said, I've had mine for quite a while, and I'm just sanding it down with the 80 grit sandpaper. And these little hand sanders are pretty neat, and I do have them listed in my description box if you want to check it out on Amazon. I really like it. So see how it's just taking that design right off of that coaster? Now this coaster already has the backing on it, and it's still good, the cork backing, and that's fine. We're not going to actually use this particular coaster. I just wanted to show you how easily the design sands off with 80 grit sandpaper. And now I'm going to go around the edges because sometimes those are stained. Now this does kind of make a dusty mess, so you want to cover your work area, and then you can just throw that paper away when you're done with it. That way you don't get the dust everywhere. See how it got on the back there? Now when I finish with this, I take it in there and I run water on it to clean it off and wipe it down with a towel. But here's the one we're actually going to use. The cork has come off the back of it, so we're going to cover it with some of this foam adhesive. So this is just a piece, and I don't know if I got it at the Dollar Tree, but I know I've had it for a long time. And I'm just cutting inside the line so it's a little bit smaller than the coaster itself. Then you just peel that back off and stick it right on the bottom of your coaster. So if you have a coaster that doesn't have the cork backing or anything on it, you can use these foam sheets for that. And that's all I used was the sticky stuff that was on the back of it, and it holds well. And now we're going to work on the front of our coaster. So for this part here, well, okay, there's some staining on my coaster, so I'm just going to take my hand sander there and sand that off a little bit, which I did. So now it's good to go. And you can't really see it on here. My printer is kind of out of ink, but I do have the words, "Motherhood is worthy of honor," Ephesians 6:1-3. And I'm taking a pencil and I'm just coloring in the back of this piece so that it kind of works like carbon paper. Only this time, as you'll see here in a minute, it doesn't work. But I wanted to leave this in so you would know I did try this, and it just didn't work. I don't know if I didn't press down hard enough. I don't know if maybe I didn't put enough of the pencil marking on the back of it, but I did have some carbon paper, and that's what I end up using. So I'm just placing it where I want it on my coaster. And then I have some masking tape that I'm going to use just to hold it down. So I'm going to put a piece at the top and a piece at the bottom. And there it is. Like I said, again, you can't see it very well. And I'm just taking this pencil here and pressing on it and going over the letters. But you'll see here when I lift it up that it didn't transfer onto my coaster. So if you have any old coasters laying around, you don't want to throw them out, but you don't really care for them anymore, you can always redo them. See that? It didn't come out on it, so now we have to go to our second one, which is using carbon paper, and that probably should have been my first choice. So I'm just going to use this, not really sure what you call it, but it has a little ball on the end of it, and I'm just using it instead of the pencil. You could use the pencil. You can use a pen, it doesn't matter. It's just something to press down on the carbon paper to transfer it onto your coaster. And this particular carbon paper came in a kit that my grandson gave me for Christmas. It was a wood burning kit. So I did have some on hand. Now for this one, I did trace around all the letters, the inside and the outside of the letters. But for the next one that we do, the next coaster, I don't do that. So there it is, transferring over. Looks good. So I'm just going to continue with the rest of the design. And what I did was I looked up on Google, what does the Bible say about mothers? And I found some information about motherhood and what the Bible says. So this coaster that we're doing says motherhood is worthy of honor, Ephesians 6, 1 through 3. And if you want to know what that is, it says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with a promise, so that it may go well with you and that you may enjoy long life on earth. Now what I'm going to use are these permanent markers. So I'm just trying to decide which one is closest to the foam backing that I put on the bottom of the coaster. And so I chose this one because it's very similar. And I'm just going over the letters. So what I found was, what does the Bible say about motherhood? Motherhood is a blessing in Psalm 127:3. Motherhood is ordained by God in Psalm 139:13. Motherhood is full of hope, Proverbs 22:6. Motherhood is full of joy, Proverbs 23:25. Motherhood is a calling, Proverbs 31:28. And we already read, motherhood is worthy of honor, Ephesians 6, 1 through 3. So Mother's Day is coming up in May, I'm sorry. So I think it's is it the 14th? Yes, it's the 14th of May. So for all you mothers out there, and I would like to say grandmothers too, you know, we have jobs to do, and these are worthy jobs. So motherhood is worthy of honor, Ephesians 6, 1 through 3. And that's from the Bible. That's from God. This is what God says. So don't worry about what other people say. that being a mother isn't all that and everything. We have a huge influence on our children and our grandchildren. So just keep that in mind. And then you want to think about pointing them to the ways of Christ. So they can have a personal relationship with him. And that they can go to heaven. Remember John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. So what I'm doing now is I'm just taking my permanent marker and I'm going around the edges of the stone, and then in between on the bottom side where the foam is and the coaster itself, and just filling that in so it doesn't look stark white against the foam. So you can make these for yourself as a reminder that motherhood is a blessing ordained by God, full of hope, full of joy, a calling, and worthy of honor. Or you can give one to your mother. Yeah, I got that marker all over my hands, and I do clean it off with some alcohol. So there's our first coaster done, and now we're going to work on a second coaster. So for this one here, I'm going to take some more of the foam, only this time I'm going to use some blue. And again, I'm doing the same thing. I'm marking around the coaster itself, and then I'm going to cut inside the lines to make it a little bit smaller than the coaster. And then we're going to take that backing off and put that onto the bottom of our coaster. And that's just so, you know, it's not going to mess up your table or whatever. It's not going to scrape it up. There we go. Oh, no. Pull it back up. Let's lay it back down. Get it positioned in the right place. Now we're going to press it down. Now we're going to work on the front side. And again, I have this printed out. And it's just printed on a regular piece of paper that I got in a Word document. So I just typed it up myself and picked a nice font. And for this one here, I'm not going to go around the inside and the outside of the letters. I do start it with the M, but then I decide not to do it for the other letters. So for the M, I do around the whole letter inside and outside. But for the rest of them, I just do an outline. And it goes a lot faster. Plus, your marker is wide enough that it's going to cover it anyway. So just a faster and easier way to get this on there. So when I was looking it up, it said, what is the role of a mother according to the Bible? Well, according to the Bible, the role of a mother is to love and care for her children. She is to teach and train and nurture and discipline. A godly mother is to model godly living for her children and take care of her home. She is also to care for and help her husband. So when you think of motherhood, don't just think, you know, oh, I'm stuck home, you know, taking care of my kids and all like that. This is a burden. It's not. It is not. It's a blessing. So you want to take care of those children and point them to the ways of God. I loved raising my kids. Now they're grown and have kids of their own, and I like, you know, kind of showing the grandkids around, doing things with my grandkids, my babies. How many grandkids do you have? Put it in the comments. I have 3, 2 girls and a boy, an oldest girl, then a boy, and then a youngest girl. And apparently that's all we're going to have, but that's fine. So again, I'm just taking the permanent marker and going around the edges of the coaster, and I don't show it, but I also go on the bottom between the foam and the coaster itself and fill in that white area with the marker. Now I haven't used these since I made them, but I'm sure they will work just fine because there's no coating over top of them. They'll still soak up the liquid that condensates on your glass. And everything should be good because we're not going to spray it down. We're not going to put Mod Podge or anything on top of it because we don't want to ruin the stone's ability to soak up the condensation from your glass. So just remember, if you have some of these and you don't like the design on them or they're all messed up or whatever, you can repurpose them and give them new life. So this one says, motherhood is ordained by God. And then we have our other one. So Psalm 139:13. So here's the first one we did. I have my coffee cup sitting on it, and here's the second one. So again, I'm Liz with Liz's Crafts, and if you like what you see here, please give me a thumbs up. And I'm only two subscribers away from 500. If you guys can get me 2 more subscribers, that would be wonderful. Bye.